Ambassador Kapoor. I'd like to commend Dr. Adiyaji and his team to organize this very important one-day conventions on genocides. Particularly, this location, George Washington University, is within a walking distance from the White House, the State Department. So not only on the internet and social media, we hope our conventions can be heard by our leaders in the country. I was asked to talk about Chinese cultural revolutions and ongoing genocide. Basically just two topics. One is the typical political movement that's killed 7.7 million people in China for 10 years of chaos. And I also like to take the second part of ongoing genocides happening in China today. The Chinese cultural revolutions is among this about a dozen of major political movements over the 74 years of ruling of communists in China. And you know the communism is not from China, it's from Europe. It's a radical scoop. The European people don't want it. They give it to Russia, Russia gives it to China. So it's not from China. It's go against the traditional values and cultures of the ancient civilization in China. So Chinese cultural revolutions is on the surface is internal power struggle of Chairman Mao against his opponents in the party, Liu Shaoqi and others, who are more capitalist-oriented to regain the power of the leader in the Communist Party. But the real reason of a cultural revolution is to eradicate Chinese culture and value systems so that communists can stay on the land of divine in China. Then it was started in 1966, lasted for a little bit more than 10 years to 1976, and mass mind initiated by Chairman Mao Zedong. Then it was ended soon after the death of Chairman Mao, and there was a gang of 4, including Mao's wife, Jiang Qin, and others, being arrested and end these 2 mills of cultural revolutions. And Hua Guofeng took the leadership at that time, and soon after was taken over by Deng Xiaoping, who you probably know. And this picture on the left is that they use the innocent youngsters, teenagers in middle school, in high school, some even in elementary school, who knows very little about anything, being brainwashed and by this so-called little red book of Chairman Mao, and they becomes radical, almost crazy. They took the simple weapons, then go to every place in China to smash the old things that against the communist teaching and Chairman Mao. And the picture on the right is the gathering at the beginning of the Cultural Revolution at the capital city, Tiananmen Square, close to 1 million such a young soldier we call Red Guards that going to go to everywhere in the country to smash the culture. I want to mention a few points of the cultural revolutions. The communist teaching is to brainwash the kids. They say, mom and dads are not as close as Chairman Mao. Your real mother is Communist Party, and you should spy on your parents. Okay, report if there are any strange behavior, and criticize your parents, challenge their authority. So they put the teachings, this brainwash teaching in the textbook for students to read. They make famous sounds for everybody to sing. Not mom and dad is as not close as Chairman Mao. Then So school children become red guards and to report, disclose their parents' behavior. Many times it's misled. Many moms and dads were tortured, bring to the public, being brutally beaten by red guards, including their children within the group. And this is the picture on the right. Is a mom was disclosed by her kids to be a great landlord that's against the communist teaching. So the Cultural Revolutions pretty much shattered the family value, traditional family values of youngsters respect the parents. Just destroy that traditional value. Not only in the families, in the school, too. The picture on the left is the principal of a high school of Beijing University, which is #1 university in China, equivalent to Harvard University here. The principal was surrounded by his student, criticized him, humiliated him, and tortured him. So pretty much shattered the basic values of the student respect, teachers, and principals. On the right, upper right corner is a bunch of teachers and principals was poured out in the public wearing the high hat with the name there and their crimes against communist teaching and being humiliated and being tortured. Some tortured to death. The one on the bottom is the vice principal, Bian Zongyun. She is the vice principal of a high school of Beijing Normal University, which is one of the good university. She was poured out by her students, humiliated her, cut off her hairs into a nun, and asked her to admit mistake, throw the stones, stoning her, eventually torture her to death. So Cultural Revolution pretty much not only killed people, shattered the regular value systems in the school, in the university. And being an ethnicist, the Communist Party has inherent hatred against authentic religions and belief systems. The picture on the right is the statue of great Buddha was smashed by these red guards of youngster teenagers and put even the big banners on the body. It says, #1 buster, the Buddha. And on the lower left is a handful of monks from the temple was pushed out in the public, asking them to admit their mistakes against the communist teaching, holding the banners. It says that what is the Buddha's scripture? All bullshit. Then they burned down the statues, the scriptures, the books, the device in the temples. And the Bodhisattva, that's the most respected Bodhisattva in China, Guan Yin Pusa, was poured down by a bunch of crazy red guards. Not only that, they poured out a handful of Catholic nuns in front of the public, asking to lower their head, admit their mistake of believing in God. And with the communist members are in the crowd and yells to kill them. So they're being treated this way. Then not only against people, then against all this historical and cultural materials. The pictures on the left, right, is young agers, red guards use a big hammer, smash down all the old things. They call it old olds, old thoughts, old culture, old customs, old habits, all need to be knocked down. Doing that 10 years, about 50 years ago, they destroyed temples, churches, statues, paintings, all antiques. give you two examples. The one on the middle, in the middle, the color picture is a white horse there. This is a white horse temple. The first Buddhist temples built about 2,000 years ago, with scripture directly get from India, and its most respected place. In that temple, there are clay statues of 18 arhats, with different statues there. Then this crazy red guard smashed everything, so no Buddha statue with head become headless or broken limb. In the similar times, in Beijing, the capital city, the Summer Palace, which is the palace for royal families, which has 1,000 glazed Buddha statues there. And those young teenagers went there, smashed these 1,000 Buddha statues. They all becomes broken limbs and have faceless or headless. The one in the middle is the hometowns and temples of Confucius. Confucius is the most respected saint in China. His teachings has been a part of the traditional value. In his hometown, then the Red Guard went there, used bulldozers to swipe out his tomb and knock down the temples and all the ancient books, burn down things, because the teaching of Confucius against communist teaching. And one of the most unbelievable things is it's happened across China. Men eat men. Okay, this is part of the pictures of the Guangxi province on the southwest part of China, that there's hundreds of people being pulled out in the public crowd, the crazy crowd, say they did something, they believe something wrong against communist teaching, and people in the crowd, particularly communist members, say, kill them, kill them. So they use all kinds of weapons or tools to kill those people and cut them to pieces and harvest the organs and eat the organs. So it was estimated in that province alone, Guangxi province, the massacre of man-eatings amounts to 100,000 to 150,000 victims. And these are very conservative numbers. The actual number is probably 500,000 people were killed. The killing methods include beheadings, beating with clubs, burying alive, stoning, flogging, harvest the organs, and eat the heart, liver, and kidneys. They become part of the process across China during that 10 years of Cultural Revolution. So the map on the right, the China's, no place can escape this 10 years Cultural Revolution of 2 meals. Then on the lower left corner, the black and white picture is the front gate of Tsinghua University in Beijing, which is #1 engineering university in China. It's equivalent to MIT. Here, the front gate, you see the little man says knock down that. Eventually, the front gate was torn down against the education. So the damage include all the historical and cultural materials destroyed. Economy obviously is impaired. Traditional values are all smashed and broken. The education alone stays stagnant over this 10 years. At least there are 6 whole years of the whole countries with no schools. No kids go to elementary school, middle school, college. Just 6 years of vacuums of education. Nobody go to school. And the kids hang around in this village, in the society, and smash everything. Then it's the conservative record indicated that there are 7.73 million people was killed, including the Red Guard themselves and civilians and soldiers. Then the details, I recommend a book. It's the Book of Truth, the 9th commentary of Communist Party, which I draw most of the information from. This is a book published about 18 years ago by the Epoch Times, which documents all the facts of crimes and how many families and broken people killed. And not only that, it described the deceptive, brutal, and evil nature of communists, plus the doom, the fate coming to collapse of Communist Party. And the ambassador asked not just to condemn the perpetrator, but provide some solutions. This is one of the solutions. This book of truth, with the power of truth, that awakens, send a shock wave to the Chinese community abroad and inside China. Wake up, Chinese people say these evil groups, I don't want to be part of it. I don't want the darkness. I want to be out. So they are Chinese one by one post the statements of withdrawal on the website, headquarters in New York City, and at the rate about one withdrawal every 2 seconds. So in our convention today with 9 hours of time, they probably will be 20,000 courageous Chinese withdraw from communist organizations. Communist Party, Youth League, and Young Pioneers accumulate in the past 18 years so far has accumulated to 419 million Chinese has choose their brightness, say no more crimes, no more communists. This is larger than the population of our country here. It's about 1/3 of the population. Then, and this is the book of truth and the power of truth that awaken Chinese. This is one of the ways to provide the solutions. As long as the genocide and persecution continues, we're going to disintegrate the Communist Party. Then switch gears. That one of my close friends, Bob Destro, who was the State Department Secretary, Assistant Secretary on Democracy, Labor, and Human Rights. He's also the representative of Tibetan issue, who stepped down recently in 2021. He was interviewed by New Times TV, and he was asked, is there a genocide happening in China? He said, yes, not one, but 3 ongoing genocides happening in China today. The 3 ongoing genocides, the first genocide, most people are familiar with, is in Xinjiang, the northeast part of China, about the Muslims, about 12 million ethnic minority Uyghurs being seriously tortured and killed in the past, particularly in the last 10 years. And the United States, European unions, they all recognize that. Another one is also well-known, genocide 2 in Tibet, southwest part of China. It's about 7 million minority group of Tibetans of Tantrism Buddhism. And in the last 74 years, Holy Dalai Lamas just raised the awareness of that very well. And that is ongoing. The third one involved the largest persecution and genocides in Chinese histories all over China. Is against the 70 million to 100 million Falun Gong practitioners. They are most majority Huns race, living as religious persecutions in the past 24 years. So about that, I want to very briefly explain that it's about this cultivation is in China with thousands of years. Is cultivation of mind and body, even spirits. But in modern language, we call Qigong. There was Qigong fevers in the 80s. There were more than 500 different types of Qigong in China. Then everybody practiced that early in the morning in the park. Whenever there's a grand land, you see people practice that. You even see that today in Taiwan. The people practice all kinds of Qigong, which is cultivation of mind and body. Then Falun Gong was introduced very late in 1992, and in public by Mr. Li Hongzhi from northeast part of China. And it soon gained popularity. In 6 years of time, till 1999, it has, based on the government's statistics, has 70 million to 100 million people practice that. This is because the health benefits is very clear, evident, immediately dramatic evident. And also, Falun Gong follow the morality rules of truthfulness from Taoism and compassion from Buddhism and tolerance from Confucianism. And this resonates deep in heart with people. Then there are 5 sets of gentle exercise like yoga and qigong, and follow the 3 principles. And practitioners of Falun Gong live by this compassion, tolerance, and truthfulness in their everyday life, at work, and in society. Then, and this is Falun Gong was banned in China, and in 1999, 24 years ago. But it has been embraced all over the world. There are now 140 countries doing that. In Washington D.C., in Paris, in Venice, even in India and Bangladesh. And this is, I'll skip the details why this is a nice group of mainstream people, 100 million being persecuted. There's reasons. If people have interest, I'll answer that in the Q&A sessions. Then the tortures are unbelievable. Physical tortures, there are more than 100 different methods of tortures. It's not even you can think of on that. The picture on the right is Miss Gao Rongrong, who is accounting staff at an art college in northeastern part of China. She practiced Falun Gong, was arbitrarily arrested by the communists, refused to renounce the practice believing in Falun Gong, and she was tortured. One of the cases was by the high voltage electric batons, with 10 pieces of them, with more than 10,000 volts, electric baton burned off her bodies and the face. This is one of the face that after a few days of recovery, she was tortured to death later on. So millions of families got broken, students expelled from school. Then the pie chart on the right is from United Nations. The special rapporteur so this pie chart is made by United Nations. The special rapporteur of torture who had a chance to visit China, he found out that among those alleged torture, 2/3 of them are Falun Gong practitioners in the detention center and the prisons. It was estimated there was it's about 450,000 Falun Gong practitioners in the detention center any day, any time of the years. Then they even have a psychiatric treatment for the healthy Falun Gong practitioner to the mental hospital, say you go crazy and have the injection of unknown drugs that cause central damage of the central nerves, among some. One of the most horrifying things you probably have heard of is forced organ harvesting, which was disclosed in 2006 that a nurse called Annie, who said there were more than 4,000 Falun Gong practitioners in her hospital, Tuidang hospital, was killed for organs. Then her eye doctor's husbands has removed more than 2,000 living corneas of the eyes from living Falun Gong practitioners. So there has been a lot of investigations, and this picture shows that in our countries we have about 100 million people are organ donors on our travel license. Even with that many volunteer donors for kidney transplant, you still need to wait for 2 to 3 years. During the waiting, there are more than 10% of the patients die of waiting. But in China, you can get kidney transplants in 2 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks. The same thing for the livers. So it's very expensive for for organs. A pair of corneas in the eyes is $60,000. The heart and lung is $150,000. The kidneys is $60,000. So basically, there are the systematic investigation, particularly the final harvesting and the bloody death. And this is last slide. There are UN conventions in New York City now. This picture was taken the day before yesterday. Found hundreds of medical practitioners protest there to raise awareness. It says, China, stop murdering for organs. Thank you.